The small village was surrounded on all sides by endless rice fields. During the day, it felt peaceful, quiet, almost harmless. But when night fell, something changed. The air grew colder, not the kind of cold you feel on your skin, but the kind that crawls inside your chest. After sunset, almost no one dared to step outside. At the entrance of the village stood an old mosque, and beside it, a graveyard. From that graveyard, strange sounds would sometimes drift through the wind. Some said it was just the wind. Others whispered it wasn't human at all. Cannibals, demons, jinn. Everyone had a different story, but one question haunted us all. Do humans really make those sounds at night? Fear spread through the village like a silent disease. Before daylight faded, families rushed home, locked their doors, ate in silence, and tried to sleep. Then the night arrived, and that's when the story truly begins. Welcome back. I'm Munir, and once again, you're all welcome here. I hope you're doing well, and that you're still on the safe side of the night. This is a story of 4 nights of terror, and tonight is one of those nights. I hope you stay with me from beginning to end. If you do, every moment will leave a mark. So, without further delay, let's begin. Imagine this: a simple village healer, an ordinary man people trusted. What if he suddenly changed? What if he transformed so completely that his very existence became a source of fear? What if that change brought terror not just to one person, but to an entire village? How horrifying would that be? In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Peace be upon you, Munir Bhai, and respected listeners. My name is Sajib Shahriar, speaking from Rajshahi district, Bangladesh. I hope you're all doing well, and Munir Bhai, I pray you're well too. Today, I want you to tell my story, because when you speak, it feels like the events unfold right in front of my eyes. I apologize in advance for any unintentional mistakes. I won't prolong this. Tonight, I'm about to share a terrifying and bone-chilling incident. I believe it will stay with you for a long time. I heard this story from an elderly man, a construction worker by profession. I'm a teacher. One day, while tutoring a 9th grade student, this man came to the same house to do tile work. My lesson ended, and I was preparing to leave for my next student. At the same time, he was finishing his work too. This wasn't unusual. For 5 or 6 days, we had crossed paths like this regularly. But that day, something was different. He looked troubled, deeply troubled. I greeted him and asked him, "Peace be upon you, uncle. Are you all right? You seem more worried than usual." He replied calmly, "Peace be upon you too, son. By Allah's grace, I'm fine." Then, in a heavy voice, he said, "Life is strange, my boy. No one knows where their fate is written, who they'll meet along the way, or how their journey will end." From his words, I could tell he was only lightly educated, but deeply experienced. I asked him, "What do you mean by that?" He looked at me and said, "I've been watching you for days. You are an educated man. There's a dark chapter in my life. That incident took everything from me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here today." My curiosity grew uncontrollably. I said, "If you're not in a hurry, let's have a cup of tea together. I want to hear your story." He paused for a moment, then said, "I don't drink tea, but I can tell you the story." He continued, "This isn't just a story. It's about how greed for the forbidden and jealousy can destroy a human life. A good, God-fearing man turned blind, foolish, and conscienceless because of greed. Dear listeners, I won't keep you waiting any longer. Let's go straight into the incident. Please forgive me for any mistakes.
My village is located in Bagmara Upazila, Rajshahi district. The year was around 2000. Back then, I was a strong, able-bodied man, around 30 to 32 years old. Our small village was surrounded on all sides by endless rice fields. We always believed it was a peaceful, quiet place. But when night fell, the air changed. A strange, unnatural chill would descend, not from the weather, but from something unseen. After sunset, very few people dared to step outside. At the entrance of the village stood an old mosque, beside it, a graveyard. And from that graveyard, terrifying sounds would sometimes drift through the darkness. Some said it was only the wind. Others claimed they were not human at all. Flesh-eating beings, demons, jinn. Everyone had their own explanation. But one question remained unanswered. Do humans ever make sounds like that at night? Fear settled deep into the village. Before daylight completely faded, people rushed back to their homes, ate their meals quickly, locked their doors, and surrendered to uneasy sleep. At the far edge of the village stood an old mud house. There were no homes beyond it. The owner of that house was a man named Majid Mia. His face carried the appearance of a devout believer, but his eyes held something unsettling. A thick beard framed his face. In his hands, a prayer bead, large stones tied. My village is located in Bagmara Upazila, Rajshahi district. The year was around 2000. Back then, I was a strong, able-bodied man, around 30 to 32 years old. Our small village was surrounded on all sides by endless rice fields. We always believed it was a peaceful, quiet place. But when night fell, the air changed. A strange, unnatural chill would descend, not from the weather, but from something unseen. After sunset, very few people dared to step outside. At the entrance of the village stood an old mosque, beside it, a graveyard. And from that graveyard, terrifying sounds would sometimes drift through the darkness. Some said it was only the wind. Others claimed they were not human at all. Flesh-eating beings, demons, jinn. Everyone had their own explanation. But one question remained unanswered. Do humans ever make sounds like that at night? Fear settled deep into the village. Before daylight completely faded, people rushed back to their homes, ate their meals quickly, locked their doors, and surrendered to uneasy sleep. At the far edge of the village stood an old mud house. There were no homes beyond it. The owner of that house was a man named Majid Mia. His face carried the appearance of a devout believer, but his eyes held something unsettling. A thick beard framed his face. In his hands, a prayer bead, large stones tied together with rough string, endlessly slipping through his fingers. Let me tell you about Majid Mia. Once, he was an ordinary village healer. He treated broken bones, fevers, headaches, mysterious illnesses, even minor cases of spirit possession, using rituals and spiritual remedies. The villagers believed in him, and strangely enough, many of them got better. In times of trouble, Majid Mia was the first name people remembered. He was respected, trusted.
To be honest, he once was a truly God-fearing man. He offered guidance, solutions, comfort. For the village, he was hope and the last refuge. Then, suddenly, he vanished without warning. His absence created a dark, hollow silence in the simple life of the village. Like smoke dissolving into the air, Majid Mia disappeared, and no one could find a trace of where he went or why. His disappearance didn't just cause loss, it planted an unspoken fear inside everyone's heart. Daily life became uncomfortable, uneasy. People had relied on him for sickness, advice, and protection. A year passed. Slowly, the village returned to something resembling normal life. Then, one night, without warning, Majid Mia returned. But his return was wrong. In daylight, when people saw him, the simple villagers trembled with fear. A question echoed in everyone's mind. Who is this? This was not the Majid Mia they knew. It was as if another presence lived inside him, a shadow from an unknown world. His beard was wild, thick like a jungle. His hair dry, messy, untamed. He wore a pure white Punjabi, glowing unnaturally even in darkness. But the most terrifying part were his eyes, cold, unnatural, like a predator waiting silently in deep darkness. His voice heavy, unfamiliar, so deep that it made chests tighten in fear. The old Majid, the man who once smiled and spoke gently, was gone forever. He no longer acknowledged people. He had abandoned healing entirely. Whispers spread through the village. Majid has changed. The man we knew is no longer inside him. Something terrible has claimed him. Now, when people see Majid Mia, they are afraid. And then, the nightmare truly began. His name was Rahmat Ali, a hard-working, God-fearing farmer from the village. That night, he returned late from work in Bagmara. It was deep into the night when he reached the entrance of the village, where the ancient mosque stood, and beside it, the graveyard. For the first time in his life, Rahmat Ali felt his heart slam violently inside his chest. What he saw was something no human mind would ever imagine willingly. Darkness surrounded everything, and inside the graveyard, a short distance from the mosque, stood a black figure, completely still. It looked like a shadow solidified into form, a pitch-black, bodiless presence. A wave of terror crashed through Rahmat Ali's chest. His throat went dry. He looked around desperately, but there was no one. With a trembling voice, he began reciting verses from the Quran, blowing softly on his chest for protection. Summoning every ounce of courage, he stepped closer to the black figure. What he witnessed next shattered the limits of human reason. It was an unspeakably evil sight. Rahmat saw the dark figure reach into a new grave, digging rapidly into the soil. Within moments, it pulled something out from beneath the earth. From a distance, it looked like part of a human corpse. What happened next, even I cannot fully explain. As I listened to the old man's words, I stood frozen in shock. Without any reason, the object in the figure's hand burst into flames. Bright, violent fire tore through the darkness, casting a demonic glow across the graveyard. And in that light, Rahmat saw its face, covered in black cloth, unclear, motionless, and within its eyes, a cold, unnatural smile. Rahmat Ali's blood turned to ice. A freezing current ran down his spine. He couldn't stay there another second. Screaming in blind terror, he ran back towards the village. Hearing his cries, villagers rushed out with sticks and farming tools, returning with him to the graveyard. But the place was empty, silent, unnaturally calm. No one was there. Some believed Rahmat's story, others laughed it off. But from that night onward, a horrifying chapter began in Rahmat's life. Rahmat Ali was a happy man, a wife, a son, a daughter, a modest but peaceful family. 8 or 10 cows, 5 or 6 bighas of farmland, a large pond. That night he told his wife everything. She comforted him, recited prayers, blew blessings into water and made him drink it. But the fear never left him. The next morning, just after the Fajr prayer, Rahmat Ali awoke to a cold voice calling his name. Standing at the door was Majid Mia. His eyes were still as dark as the abyss, his voice just as cold. When Rahmat stepped outside, Majid spoke in a heavy tone. "Sell me the land beside the graveyard.
It will be good for you. The land lies empty anyway. Nothing grows there." Rahmat was a simple man, but deeply attached to his ancestral land. Smiling politely, he said, "No, brother. That land belongs to my forefathers. I can't sell it." Majid tried again, his voice unnaturally calm. "I'm saying this for your own good. The land is useless to you. If you give it to me, I'll move my house there." But when Rahmat refused one last time, something terrifying happened. Majid Mia's eyes changed. In a single moment, they turned blood red, as if something monstrous inside him was trying to break free. He said nothing more. Muttering under his breath, he walked away. A freezing chill ran down Rahmat Ali's spine, and then he heard it, a faint, disembodied voice. "You didn't do the right thing, Rahmat. Not at all." The next night, when the entire village lay unconscious in deep sleep, terror erupted inside Rahmat Ali's home. His young daughter suddenly woke up screaming. Her eyes were wide with fear, as if they might burst from their sockets. Trembling, she cried, "Father, Father, there's a man standing by the window. He's wearing black. His face is covered. I can't see his face, Father." Rahmat Ali was in deep sleep until her daughter's piercing scream tore through the night. Startled awake, he rushed to find the source of her terror. When he looked outside, he thought he saw someone standing there. He ran out immediately, but there was no one. The entire yard was empty, silent. He returned inside and tried to calm his daughter, but her fear refused to fade. After a long struggle, he and his wife finally managed to put her back to sleep. Exhausted, they too drifted into uneasy rest. At dawn, Rahmat Ali went to the cowshed, and the moment he stepped inside, the blood in his veins froze solid. Every single cow lay dead. No signs of illness, no wounds, no explanation. Death had settled into every corner of the shed. Cold, absolute. Years of hard work, the foundation of their family's survival, destroyed in a single night. A silent scream tore through Rahmat Ali's chest. Villagers rushed in. Their condolences, their sorrow, felt like mockery to him. And standing quietly at the edge of the crowd was Majid Mia. Rahmat didn't notice him, but others did. Majid stood there, staring, his gaze hard, his lips curved into a cold, mysterious, almost demonic smile.
That night, exactly at midnight, loud thudding sounds erupted on the tin roof. It felt as if the sky itself was hurling stones down, yet outside there wasn't a single drop of rain. Then it began again. Something raced across the roof from one end to the other at terrifying speed. The sound was so violent, so unnatural, it felt as if a massive, unseen entity was running directly above their heads. Rahmat Ali, his wife and his children trembled together in absolute terror, whispering the name of Allah again and again. They felt as if that evil force would break through the walls at any moment and crush their throats. This was no ordinary fear. It was a dark, merciless game. Ever since the night Rahmat returned from the graveyard, these horrors had begun. He couldn't make sense of it. At dawn, the sky looked strangely pale. The sun rose, but its light felt weak, lifeless. Rahmat noticed something else. The birds weren't singing. In the village, people say when birds fall silent, evil is moving through the air. The courtyard remained still. The terror of the night before was etched onto every face in the family. His daughter looked drained of color, trembling as she asked again and again, "Mother, mother, will the man in black come back?" Her mother placed a hand on her head and said softly, "No, my child, Allah will protect us. Do not be afraid. Remember Him in your heart." But both the mother and father were shaking. They knew this fear did not belong to the human world alone. That day, Rahmat Ali did not go to the mosque for the Fajr prayer. He prayed at home instead. Later in the morning, he quietly told the mosque's imam everything that had happened. After listening carefully, the imam said, "Go home now, Rahmat. I will come to your house this afternoon." After the Asr prayer, the imam arrived at Rahmat Ali's home. Just as he was about to enter, he suddenly stopped. Fixing his gaze at the tall palm tree behind the house, he said, "Rahmat, I see something unnatural near that tree. Did you hear any crying sounds last night?" Rahmat replied in shock, "No, Husur, I didn't hear anything. But my daughter saw a black figure," he added. "What could this be?" The imam paused for a moment. Then he said, "It's too early to say. I will summon my jinn and ask, but it seems an evil force has attached itself to your home." He handed Rahmat blessed water and a talisman. "Make everyone drink this water. Keep the talisman with you all the time. Be careful," he warned. "I will see what can be done."
Rahmat couldn't sleep. No matter how hard he tried, one question kept spinning inside his head. Who would want to harm him like this? He had no enemies. He had never wronged anyone. He did suspect Majid, but all this just because Rahmat refused to sell a small piece of land? That didn't seem believable. That night, Rahmat's children suddenly fell seriously ill. They began speaking nonsense again, strange words, voices not their own. Fear slowly crept into what was once a happy family. Rahmat's wife couldn't accept any of this. Again and again they remembered Allah, praying desperately for protection. That afternoon, after Asr prayer, the Hujur arrived with the necessary items. In the middle of the courtyard, he drew a circle using vermilion and sandalwood soil. Then he placed Rahmat's daughter inside the circle. He began reciting powerful verses to summon whatever presence had possessed her. At first, nothing happened. After great effort, the jinn finally appeared. The moment it manifested, Rahmat's daughter's body shook violently. Her eyes turned blood red. In a deep, masculine voice, she said, "Why have you summoned me? What do you want from me?" The Hujur replied firmly, "Who are you? Why are you here? What do you want from this family?" The jinn let out a cold, horrifying laugh and said, "I didn't come by choice. I was sent. I was promised these children and I will take them." The Hujur warned him, "I have imprisoned many jinn before. Speak the truth or you will face the same fate." The jinn laughed even louder. "Threatening me?" Suddenly, Rahmat's daughter was lifted into the air and thrown violently across the yard. The Hujur stumbled for a moment but quickly regained control and began stronger ruqya. After a long struggle, the jinn weakened and was forced to sit. Under compulsion, it finally spoke. "My name is Israfil. I belong to the Kul tribe. I live in graveyards. A corrupt man from your village sent me to destroy this family." The Hujur demanded, "Who sent you and why?" The jinn replied, "Majid summoned me through black magic in the graveyard. He needed a decomposed girl's corpse to perform the ritual, but Rahmat saw him and the ritual failed." Enraged, the jinn demanded fresh blood, a boy and a girl. Majid promised Rahmat's children, but now the ritual had been interrupted again. "I will still take them," the jinn growled. "No one can save them." Rahmat collapsed, crying in rage and despair. The Hujur intensified the ruqya until the jinn was completely weakened. Finally, the Hujur asked how the curse could be broken. The jinn answered, 7 black pigeon chicks must be sacrificed with 7 new knives by 7 unmarried firstborn sons. The blood must not touch the ground. It must be collected in 7 clay pots wrapped in red cloth and buried in the graveyard before Fajr. Only then would the curse be destroyed. With Allah's mercy, everything was done exactly as instructed. The family was saved. When villagers heard the truth, they went to find Majid, but he was gone. His house stood empty. In rage, the villagers burned it to the ground. Majid was never seen in the village again. Later, I asked my uncle a final question. Why did Majid want Rahmat's land so badly? My uncle answered quietly. Because the land was beside the graveyard. It was perfect for black magic. I looked at the clock. 8:12 p.m. As my uncle stood up to leave, I asked one last question. Uncle, how do you know all this? He smiled and said,
My name is Majid. My blood froze. The jinn told me everything, he said. That eerie smile, yellow teeth shining beneath his white beard, pulled me into another world. He turned and walked away. I stood frozen. This was the story. Thank you, dear listeners, for staying with me until the end. But remember, the biggest twist is yet to come. If you enjoyed this story, please let me know. And if you liked it, I will share the rest of the story in future episodes. Even if you didn't enjoy it, feel free to tell me. Your feedback truly matters. Please keep me in your prayers. This is my very first story on Ghost FM After Dark, and just knowing that makes me incredibly happy. I am Sajib Shahuriyar, signing off for today. I'll be back again with another terrifying story. Assalamu alaikum. And with that, he ended his story. I hope you enjoyed this incident. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, and to get new horror stories first, make sure to subscribe to our Ghost FM After Dark channel. If you found this story especially chilling, please share the video link with your friends and loved ones. And if you or someone you know has a real-life horror story, you're welcome to share it with us. You'll find our email address in the channel description. You can send your story in writing or even as an audio recording.
Thank you all for listening to the full story with patience. Until the next video, stay safe, protect yourselves from all harm, and may Allah keep everyone healthy and protected. Insha'Allah.
I can see